I get it. The title for Tim Pool's broadcast is much more exciting than mine because I don't even know. I'll tell you what it is because we'll talk about the Trump arrest and whether that's actually going to happen or not. It looks like it's in question. So I'm going to tell you about it. And the title of Tim Pool's show is that new evidence exonerates Trump. So I'll find that. I'll find out what that is. I think I might have seen it. So I'll tell you about it. I think maybe I know what he's talking about. So I'll tell you about it. It looked, I mean, really, if I was going to gamble on it, I'd be curious what the odds are. That's all. As usual, I'd be curious what the odds are that he's just not going to get arrested at all. And that was a whole, I don't know. Sure, I don't know what you want to call it. He said he was going to get arrested. And then DeSantis said it was a rumor. Can you guys see me? Let's see. Vagabond Life says you need a shorter countdown. Yeah, that's all right. I can talk about the weather until people get tuned in. It's been raining like crazy. We talk about other stuff. I'll cover the Trump arrest that is in question. And I'll talk about what happened with the Fed, Jerome Powell, and what Janet Yellen said today. Those are the things I have, basically. So I was getting myself prepared today, driving around in the rain. I mean, it's been raining, just so you guys know. In California, they say we're at drought forever, but it's been raining like crazy. I've been out driving in the rain, and that's something messed up happened to me because my battery died while I was out working, and now they think that I'm not reliable. Oh, I tell you about it, but you guys don't want to hear about my life. My life. I'm tweeting about this economy thing. What do they say? Cassandra. I guess that's why that one guy calls himself Cassandra, because I guess I've been saying stuff like this for a long time. So that's why I'm telling people. I'm like reaching out to people, like you should buy some Bitcoin. But I'm telling people on Twitter, like people literally don't care, or they're making fun of me. They're like, "Oh, how's Bitcoin doing today, bro?" Well, we'll find out. But I'm glad you're here. And I don't know. But I'm going to tell you what's going on with the economy anyway. It's up to you. You decide what you want to do about it. And, but it could be really serious. I was looking up credit cycles. I'll tell you about that today. There's a Project Veritas video that came out that I could play for you as long as you're here. And that's it. We can look at charts. We can look at Bitcoin charts. We can talk about gold and silver. We can talk about Trump. I'll tell you the news on that. And whatever else you guys want to talk about. This Vagabond Life says, you want to hear about my life? You want to hear about my life? Oh my God. I'll tell you, it like really makes you evaluate things. Yeah, I was out driving, what was it, yesterday in my car, because I'm doing DoorDash, right? Because YouTube hates me. I'm going to try to figure out how to fix it, maybe. It's possible they will allow me to do monetized videos. I was talking to Jaron about it. He says he has somebody do clips from his show. He does clips from his show, and YouTube allows them to be monetized, and they get views and stuff. So I'm thinking about that. But they really, it's just, it's like really unfortunate. My life is unfortunate in a lot of ways. And I was really feeling that way yesterday. Yeah, I was picking up an order, and I got back to my car and the battery was dead. I was like, oh, shit. And then I told them, and I was like, I just returned the food to the restaurant. They were like, oh, it's going to affect your record. So now they won't let me drive when I want to. Fucking A, man. So that's my life, this vagabond life. That's it. Hopefully Bitcoin works out. Hopefully gold works out. That's how important it is to me. I had somebody say they like this show. That made me feel good. This morning I woke up. Somebody I went to school with commented on my podcast. They were like, I love your podcast. I was like, oh my God, really? I thought everybody probably thought I was a Nazi. Everybody I went to school with. So that was nice. Otherwise, I don't know what's going on. I have a new offer for people today because I'm going to have a little more free time, I guess. I have an offer today. I should have streamed the press conference. I'll tell you what happens. I'll tell you what happened in it. Are you guys getting prepared for things? Or do you not take it seriously? I think most people don't take it seriously. Stock market was down today. People are a little concerned. Janet Yellen says your money's not safe today. Some people are concerned. But all in all, I think people have a tendency to believe that things aren't going to change much. But I think they probably will. So, Mike Maker, I've been called the Nazi. Mike Maker says, go work for an actual business who delivers. Yeah, I don't know what to do, man. I really don't know what to do. Hopefully cryptocurrency works out. If it does, that would be great. All right, I'll give you the news. Let's see. Oh, Mike Maker says, imagine thinking Nate is a Nazi. Well, I was called a Nazi. Didn't Antifa call me a Nazi just because I wore a polo shirt? So I figured people might think that. They did call me a Nazi and assaulted me. So people could think that. People say that in the debate over things. You say something, they're like, oh, you're a Nazi. Or that's what Nazis say. Well, glad you're joining me. I probably won't. We're probably going to pretend this episode didn't happen. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. As usual, I will beg for coffees, super chats, and tell you to buy t-shirts. Oh, and I have an offer, though, today. Something for free. My time for free. I'll tell you about it. For people who care. I'll tell you about it. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news. BB says some truck drivers are fainting and crashing. Well, it's lucky for everybody that trucks are about to be driven by robots. So that's one job. It'll mostly be replaced. I think probably the way it'll work is someone will still ride in the truck, but it's going to be driven mostly by a computer. And then the human might have to do like the loading and stuff, right? So there will still be a human, but they might not need to have as many skills, and they might not be paid as much. if the computer does the driving. That's one thing that will happen. Yeah. But you're talking about because of the shot, right? Yeah. There's a question. Do you think the shot is going to cause depopulation? You think like people are going to die? There's some questions around it. Some people, some places are dying, like in Australia. But then in America, it says that people aren't dying more, apparently. All right, I'll show you the news on Trump, and I'll tell you guys what I'm offering. Trump hush money grand jury proceedings canceled for Wednesday, sources say. Sources say. Trump hush money grand jury proceedings canceled for Wednesday, sources say. Grand jury proceedings canceled amid major dissension in DA's office, sources tell Fox News. So major dissension. So maybe they figured it out. But then I have news that I don't know if I can verify, where somebody says they are going to have hearings tomorrow. But this reporting from Fox News says that sources say there's major dissension in the DA's office. There was a point in the past when the same DA decided not to pursue charges against Donald Trump. And then maybe he was pressured into pursuing charges in the end. So I don't know. For now, people say they canceled proceedings for today. Originally, he was supposed to get indicted today, and then he was going to appear in court next week. But like I said, I don't know. There is a person, but it's one of the Krasensteins saying that, I'll just show it to you. The Manhattan DA plans to reconvene the Trump grand jury tomorrow. While this does not guarantee an indictment tomorrow, it certainly increases the chances. Okay, now what is the exculpatory information? What is Tim Pool talking about on his show tonight? I think it's that there's an email or there's testimony from somebody somebody said that Cohen is a lot. They're basing a lot of stuff on Cohen's testimony. And somebody said Cohen is a liar. And somebody else said, or there's maybe an email that says the payment to Stormy Daniels nobody ever got reimbursed from Trump campaign funds or from Trump at all. So that might be what Tim Pool is talking about tonight. We'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow. It seems like there's a distinct possibility that it's not going to be an indictment. Oh, if you want to support the show, I appreciate you. If you want to support the show, that'd be cool. You can do super chats. You can drop tips on Rockfin. Thanks, Vogan Filter. And you can drop coffees at buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. And then I'll read them on the show. I can leave a link to that. Let me see. Or I can show it on my screen. And then I'll tell you about a sale. And I'll tell you what I'm offering my time for free. Thanks, Down Advices. I'll read your comment later. Buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. I'll drop a link in the thing. Support. Kind of hoping there's like a complete financial meltdown. And then I'll just live stream. I can just live stream it. So I'll be on here more. There is the opportunity for that. So today, the Fed, I told you guys this. I've already told you guys a lot about the economy. The Fed raised rates today as expected. making the problem worse, in practice, than it was. The thing that crashed the banks was the high rates, because people can give their money to the Fed, who pays interest and will eventually pay them back, or people can give their money to a bank, which doesn't pay interest and might lose the money. So that's the option people have had. And so that's kind of the story of it, is the Fed raised rates. People can get a bigger return by investing in government treasuries or money market funds than they can putting their money at the bank. So people have been taking their money out of the bank and buying these other things. It'll get fun. So they raised rates 25 basis points. The big change was, he said, instead of we're going to keep raising rates, that was the language before. He was like, we're going to keep tightening. We're going to keep raising rates until, he said, maybe. He said, we may raise rates depending on what happens. And then he said they expect credit conditions to tighten without them raising rates. And that's where we get into the credit cycle, and whether it's a credit cycle theory. But some people say, like Austrian economists, say that actually everything, like the whole boom and bust cycle, is actually a credit cycle. So it's a situation where when there's more credit, things expand. And then when there's less credit, things contract. So what Jerome Powell was saying was there's going to be less credit. And that's what people are talking about. That's the big news. I got 2 likes on my tweet about the credit crisis. So I realized, I don't even know if it matters if I say it. Banks, it's pretty straightforward though. Banks supposedly take your money, right? You deposit it and they loan it to people. Mostly they don't even loan it to people. They just loan it to the government or to something like the government, or that's backed by the government. That's mostly what they do. So if they have less deposits, right? If they take deposits and give loans, if they have less deposits, then they can't give as many loans. And that means credit contracts. And raising interest rates is a way of tightening credit, but also making it harder to get credit. So if credit gets harder to get, that's tightening. So, and the effects of that, well, you can think about it. So he says, we don't have to do any more hiking because credit's going to tighten anyway, and that's going to bring down inflation. So how does that bring down inflation? Well, if people can't get loans, then they can't buy things and they can't pay as much for things. So cars, houses, whatever. I mean, people need loans for everything, or you don't get approved for a big credit card anymore. So that's the thing that I believe, like the actual thing that makes the economy slow down is probably credit. So I looked up something about it so I can read it to you. I'll show you. But that's the thing I would be worried about. In addition to the idea that banks aren't safe, right? Which people are awakening to. People are woke about the banks. People have learned that the banks don't have your money, and that when you give it to them, it's just like you get an IOU. So people are seeking out alternatives. And Janet Yellen said definitively today, they're not going to bail everybody out. So that gives people more incentive to pull money from banks. And it looks like First Republic Bank crashed a bunch. The stock price crashed a bunch today. So it looks like it's still going under. And it looks like the Fed still wants some banks to fail. And that will help out with inflation. So if there is a credit crunch, which some people are saying, oh, it's not going to happen, it makes sense that it would. If there is a credit crunch, which I've been kind of predicting for a long time, then there will be contraction in things and inflation will go right down really quick. So my prediction is that that's what's going to happen. And people are saying it's already happening. Like credit is already changing. So if credit changes, then that should bring down inflation. So the Fed should never have to raise interest rates again. And as a matter of fact, most likely, or I don't know, it could develop into a crisis where inflation is no longer a concern and they'll just print money again. My thoughts basically are that with COVID, they set a precedent that they're just willing, if conditions demand it, like if stuff gets bad enough, then they'll print as much money as they have to, like whatever it takes. That's what they did during COVID. So I'm just thinking back during COVID, they just said whatever it takes, right? And they sent out checks. So if stuff gets really bad again, for reasons that, once again, it's not Americans' fault, right? That the banks are failing. It's actually the Fed's fault. So will the Fed say, oh, it's our fault, so we'll just print a bunch of money again? And so it's the money printing that's bad for the currency. And so people are comparing the currency to something like Bitcoin or gold. And that's why those things are, have been going up. Bitcoin went down today. Gold went up today. Gold and silver went up today. I went to the bullion dealer near me where I've gotten metals before. He said it's very hard for him to get silver. And he didn't have hardly any gold and thought he would be sold out by the end of the day. So it's getting difficult to buy those things, which are just an alternative to having your money at a bank. You have a few different alternatives, but that's one of them, is you could have gold, silver, Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. And because of that, they're attacking Bitcoin and crypto, and they attacked Coinbase. Again, they attacked Coinbase today. And then they also put out a statement that cryptocurrency is no good, right? You guys see that? Joe Biden said, most of crypto has no fundamental value. It's pretty funny. Biden administration published a report attacking Bitcoin and proof of work mining while promoting CBDCs. So here they are. So it's tough for them because they have to say crypto is bad, but our crypto is going to be good. And so it's always good to just believe the opposite of whatever the government is saying. But the Biden administration published a report just now attacking Bitcoin. This is the deal. Here's the thing. If people decide that Bitcoin is a store of value and actually a safe haven asset, which I believe it is, then the exit could get really fast. So people can exit banks and dollars at the same time simply by buying Bitcoin or any kind of cryptocurrency. They're selling they're getting rid of dollars and they're getting rid of exposure to banks all in one swoop. And it's pretty easy right now. So they don't want that, because if people realize, like right now, people aren't really doing, it's not that many people. It hasn't gone crazy yet. I mean, Bitcoin is up a lot. It's up a lot. I think 50 to 70% this year, something like that. So about 27.4 right now. But if people the idea to say, oh, I can just take my money out of the bank and buy Bitcoin instead, and that's going to be safe or safer than being in the bank, then that could become a real problem. Like there's no easier way. There are very few easier ways to withdraw your money from the bank than just to buy Bitcoin with it. So because of that, I'm seeing reports of restrictions from certain banks. And I don't know if these are just rumors but I saw somebody that said he's hearing from people that banks are starting to restrict how much cryptocurrency you can buy. And I just wouldn't be surprised. Like if you're thinking about getting your money out of the bank or whatever, just go ahead and do it if you're thinking about it, because you never know. They could limit withdrawals. During the 2008 crisis, some banks limited withdrawals, and they limited how much you could take out per day. So if you're thinking about it, I'd say if you're thinking about it, like if you're worried, then you can still buy crypto now from most banks. But that's one attack. They said most of crypto has no fundamental value, unlike the US dollar. That's funny. It's funny when they say that. It's funny when they say it has no fundamental value, and they say, well, compared to what? You say, sure, you're right. The value is based on whatever people are willing to pay for it. But what does that compare to the dollar? Which can be printed, which is just going to be printed into infinity, probably. So there is some there is value to Bitcoin for the things it can do. It can store value, and you can transfer it. That's something, just like you can with dollars. And then here's my tweet about the SEC notification. So the SEC sent a notice to Coinbase that they're going after them. They're going to do some kind of enforcement action. Has to do with staking. I don't think it's super important. I don't think it's a super big deal. But I expect there to be a lot of government attacks. Like I expect them to say, oh, crypto's crap, don't buy crypto. And then in the future, like if everybody gets rich with crypto because people start buying it, then they're not going to like that either. Then they might make it hard to leave the country. So if things go the way things might go, the way some people are speculating, then people with Bitcoin are going to be the people with money, and the government won't like that very much. And they might not want people to leave, because people are with crypto are talking about just leaving, going to Dubai or El Salvador or Puerto Rico, where they don't have to deal with capital gains taxes and stuff. And the government might want to make it difficult for you to actually exit the country with your cryptocurrencies, but there's only so much they can do. But that's why it might be worthwhile to have private cryptocurrencies. Right now, they're not going up, but I think they could have a lot of value in the future. Stuff like Monero, where you can actually hide the money. People don't know about it. You could transfer it anonymously. But Bitcoin is what people are turning to so far. I'll show you the chart. I've been watching it. So basically, I feel like as of today, I'm ready. If banks go down, I'm ready for it. I feel like I'm prepared. But if you are not, you can get, I don't know, you can get some Bitcoin. It's relatively easy. So I'll tell you, I'll give you free. I'll give you my time for free. If you want to talk about it, I'll tell you that. So here's the Bitcoin chart right now. Somebody was giving me a hard time on Twitter. I'm glad. I like the haters. Like, oh, how's that Bitcoin doing for you today? I was like, well, I bought some more. So I think probably by tomorrow it'll be okay. But that's Bitcoin. 27.4 right now. It was down today. I don't even know why. There's just enforcement on Coinbase and stuff. But if people decide that Bitcoin is a store of value, which is what it is, then it's just like all assets. You just think about all the assets in the world. Bitcoin's market cap is 500 billion something. It's nothing. It's nothing compared to 20 trillion or 18 or 20 trillion in deposits, then however many trillion in treasuries. It's nothing. It's just nothing. So if that stuff, all that has to happen is people, they're supposed to 18 trillion in deposits at the bank, right? So if people decide to say, oh, well, let me just to like hedge my bets, buy some Bitcoin, not with all the money, with just some. If $1 trillion went from banking deposits into Bitcoin, then the price would triple from where it is right now. And if it gets the market cap of gold, I think that's a 20x from where it is now. And gold's going to go up too. So I was going to tell you about credit cycles. Let me tell you. I could tell you, maybe I'll research this a little bit and then I'll give you guys a description of the credit cycle and stuff. As things happen, the financial crash, it takes time to play out. It doesn't all happen in one day. Things happen. People think it's going to be okay. Things go down, things go up. But overall, we're due for something. So if you want, this is what I was going to do for people who want to take advantage of it. I have a little free time. I have a calendar. And I used to do this, right? I'm good at it. I understand cryptocurrency. If you want to talk about crypto for a half hour, just sign up. And you can normally, like I charged when I did it, it's $40 for a half hour, $70 an hour for consulting on cryptocurrency. And that's like really low from what people charge. But I'll offer my time for free if you sign up using this calendar. You go to bitcoinmissionary.com. You can go to bitcoinmissionary.com and click on 30-minute consultation, which says $40 right now. But you can schedule a time with me and it schedules a Zoom meeting, because some people have thoughts about securing their crypto. A lot of people are like, oh, well, I don't want to buy it because I don't know how to store it. And then that stops people from buying it. So if you're in that boat, or if you want to talk about whatever, it really doesn't matter. It's free. Give me a donation, however much you feel like, if you want to schedule it. I'll see if people schedule it, but I'll check my calendar. If you want to learn about anything about crypto or anything else, it doesn't matter. I can't give financial advice, but I can tell you how to buy and store cryptocurrency if you care. Go to bitcoinmissionary.com and just sign up for a 30-minute consultation. You don't have to pay or anything when you sign up. And then you can just, if you give me a donation or something, that's cool. You can buy me some coffees or whatever, because I'm going to have a little free time. So that's for real. Free. Bitcoin Missionary. I thought a while back, I was telling people to buy Bitcoin. See, that's the thing, is like, I'm telling people now, but I did tell people before, and the price went down. So I think people still remember that. In fact, like a lot of people still have pain and don't believe it. They don't believe that Bitcoin is going to be okay. Right now, people don't believe it for the most part. People who are smart, who do understand it, I think, are buying it for the right reasons, I think. But a lot of people don't believe it. They've been burned before on crypto. I talked about crypto. I started doing a crypto show, but it was when crypto started going down. I was like, well, it's really hard. I really respect the people that talk about crypto. I mean, there's a show I tuned into that he goes twice a day and just tells people to buy Bitcoin all the time. So you do what you want. For me, Bitcoin, gold, silver, gold stocks, I think that stuff is going to be okay. Could totally crash. The credit, if banks crash and credit seizes up, could make everything crash. So, but today, gold was up significantly. Silver was up significantly. But silver is still so cheap. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And you can buy it online, I've bought before from jmbullion.com if you prefer silver and gold over cryptocurrency. So I like gold. I like gold because it's more anonymous than cryptocurrency. I like silver and gold because they're more anonymous. It's funny here, at least. I don't know how it works, but here in California, if you buy gold or silver with cash, you don't have to pay sales tax. And if it's less than $10,000, I guess they make you write down, you're supposed to write down your name, but you could literally write anything. So I like that about gold and silver, is that you can buy them. It's difficult to find a dealer nearby that has stuff. So you might be able to find old American coins, though, what they call junk silver, which is actually a great investment because it trades closest to the actual spot price of silver. Silver is super cheap. Silver is super cheap. So if they print money the way they're going to print money, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I'm talking about it for a reason. I'm looking at the charts. I'm following it. If you want to talk to me about it, that'd be great. Give me something to do. And then I'll see if there's more stuff to stream about, if like the financial markets really start melting down. So I appreciate everybody who supports the show. Thanks, Vogan Filter, who should get a medal. I need to come up with something special. Thanks, Vogan Filter, for the tip over on Rockfin. It's just amazing. Dick on Rockfin says, do you think Trump will end up sharing a cell at Club Fed? I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if they're going to let him go. Just decide not to indict him. All right, I'll check my coffees and then I'll see if anybody wants to call in. There's just a few people tuned in today. So we'll see if we can get any calls, if people have thoughts. Thanks for the coffee down at Vices. Who says, I know this isn't much, but I hate that I'm hearing the fact you have to do DoorDash. Whatever this means, just keep on the up and up. You're respected by me and many others. What it is. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I appreciate it, down at Vices. Thanks for the coffee. Yeah, Rip the Veil sent me a coffee earlier today and said would love if you went live to cover and stream financial news events, especially Powell talking. So that's what I should have done today. I was out on the road today. So I had to go to the bullion dealer who's pretty far away, and I had to do a bunch of stuff today. So, and then I drove for DoorDash, but yeah, they really screwed me, I think. I don't know if I need to contact them. I guess I don't blame them. It's not their fault. Or like now I'm unreliable because my battery died, but I got a new battery right away. And now the car works great, but now it's like, oh, you're not perfect anymore. So now it used to be like, they'd say, oh, it's not busy, but you can drive anyway if you want, because you're special. But now they're like, oh, if it's not busy, you can't even drive. So I got to find other stuff to do. Be cool if people want to set up consult. I love talking to people. So if you want to set up a consultation, that'd be great. I'll post this podcast. Fuck it. Who cares? I mean, who cares? People have heard enough of the crazy show on this show. That way people who listen to the podcast can hear it. If you want to call in, go ahead. I'll take questions from the chat. We can talk about Austrian economics. But the credit cycle, that's what we're going to find out about. But I almost don't even want to say, it almost makes me not want to say anything. How little interaction I get talking about the economy and stuff. It almost makes it like, that's like, fuck it. I'm almost ready to say, I'll go live. Like when Bitcoin reaches 30K or something. But it's all right. Some people will hear it. I did this whole thread. It's like, what am I even thinking? Well, like, why am I wasting my time? I did a whole thread explaining like how the FDIC can't guarantee all deposits. (650-429-8294) if you want to call in. And yeah, bitcoinmissionary.com if you want to sign up for a 30-minute one-on-one Zoom thing. I'll check I just have to wake up and check my calendar. Thanks, Baldo. Appreciate it. Thanks, Baldo. Appreciate it. Thanks, someone. Thank you for that. Who says, sorry you had a bad day. Thanks for showing up for us. We appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah. I'll try to, I'll see if I can do more. We'll see what happens during the day and stuff. See what happens during the day. Be cool if people want to do one-on-one stuff. And then I'll figure out what else to talk about. The phone's open. If you want to call in, 650-GAY-TAXI. Thanks for the coffees. I appreciate it. Yeah, what am I doing? But it's all going to be worth it, actually. If Bitcoin does what I think it's going to do, I can tell everybody to fuck off, basically. And gold probably too, and silver. So 650-429-8294. If you want to call in, 650-GAY-TAXI. And if I don't get any calls, I'll just wrap it up. That's fine. I really, really appreciate the support. I'll see about going live earlier if there's news to report during the day. Or more often or something. You'll see. It's like later, people will be like, people right now are buying Bitcoin because they understand it, basically. In the future, people will be buying it because they can't help it. And then the price will be a lot higher. Maybe, maybe not. I've been convinced of things before that didn't happen. It's possible it won't happen this time. Financial people, I listen to these financial people. Financial people are always wrong, and they still give advice. So I try not to feel too bad about it. I mean, everybody, Peter Schiff hates Bitcoin, but he could have bought Bitcoin and be a billionaire by now. But he's still not wrong about gold and gold stocks and stuff, even though he's been wrong for years. It's going to end up being correct. So, but people say things about finance. They say things that are going to happen that don't happen. They're totally wrong, like all the time. It's kind of just generally. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, Nathan, how's it going?
Good, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Hey, I just wanted to call in because I don't know, like listening to you, it sounds like you're working really hard, but it sounds like you're just about to give up. Just wanted to tell you that it's like really important. Your show is really important to I think a lot of people, and you're doing a service. And yeah, I just always worry when I check my podcast every day that you're not going to be there. So
Yeah, I'm close, like I don't anyway, it's just one of those things. You got to be anyway. I just never I just didn't figure it out. So but I appreciate it. Thanks for the support. I appreciate it.
yeah, no problem, man. No, thank you. But yeah, I just wanted to call in. I'm just been a long time. I've never called in, and so, like suddenly I'm really nervous. But
Don't worry
just
about
yeah, no, just thanks for what you do.
Thanks, man.
It's really important.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Well, I'll try
All right,
to I'll try to keep it up. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right, take care.
See ya. Thanks. See that I'm embarrassed to like post the podcast and stuff because I'm like, I'll post it anyway. Fuck it. People have heard all kinds of crazy shit from me before. I think I understand what happened. It's so funny. Everything's so funny to me. Powell says the Fed was. I'll show you that news. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, man, is the Dead Nigger storage available?
That's all right. Prank callers happen. I was out there getting soaked today. It was pouring rain. I like driving in the rain. It's not bad. I actually don't mind it. It's just there are issues. Anyway, thanks for that call. I appreciate it. I mean, I don't appreciate it, but we know you called. He called in and asked about a bunch of crypto questions before. (650) gay taxi is the number. 650-429-8294. I think I've decided not to post the podcast. I wonder if people get really upset with me. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, Nathan, how's it going, man? Jim from Baltimore.
Hey, Jim, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I just accidentally dialed the wrong number. I dialed 419, and it's like I know what I'm doing, but then somebody picked up. He's like, hello. It sounded like he was like from some kind of alternate reality. Shit. So like, yeah, speaking of alternate reality, so what's up with what do you think, man? Do you think Trump's gonna go down? But I don't think he will.
I don't know. He might not. I mean,
I don't think so, man. He like
might not
so
happen.
fucking weird. I mean, he must have known something was coming to write all that stuff in all caps. And then all of a sudden, like, he asked for a kind of like, well, to protest, but what he really asked for was a riot. I mean, that's kind of like
you mean this time or January 6th?
Well, this time, no, Jan 6 was not. He didn't use anything as verbose as the most recent one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he asked people to go. Yeah, it is kind of funny. Like, he asked people to go protest, and he was the one who said he was going to get arrested. And then if he really doesn't get arrested, it's kind of like much ado about nothing, right?
Yeah. Like a lot of people. It's funny. I'm looking on Facebook, and all these lefties are like, they're all like talking. Like, it seems like one after another post, it's people talking about him getting arrested and this and that. It's just like everything, like making jokes and memes and stuff. Like, that's the only thing the left can do with memes is make memes about Trump. That's right. What it seems like. I don't give a fuck about Trump. Excuse the language, but I don't give a shit about him or anybody else that's running. I think I'm done voting. Period. Yeah. I mean, well, I've never voted. I voted when I was 18. That's it. Just to say I did it.
Yeah. Well, I hear you on that. It's tough. They don't give you good choices.
No, they don't, man. It's like, well, what was ever a good choice before we were born? What was a good? I mean, like, historically, there were good choices, and lots of good stuff happened with these presidents. But like once they're long gone and forgotten about, there's nothing. Nobody will talk about the bullshit acquainted to any of these presidents, except for this new one or the old one, Trump. So and Biden, oh, he was just an old man. He fucked our country for nothing. He was just, he had problems with his brain. We still worship him, but Trump, he's the devil. It's just kind of retarded.
I know. The whole thing. It's all pretty retarded.
Yes,
that's
it is.
retarded, and then a lot of the attacks between Trump supporters and DeSantis supporters are kind of retarded. Now,
yes, like the infighting of the right.
I
so
know.
Stupid.
I know. I'm like
what side are you all on now? Like, see, like nobody has a side because they can't believe in anything. They can only believe in themselves and what their family or friends or whatever, their social network.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of crazy. Anyway, I'll let you go, man. Thanks
all
for
right.
taking my call.
Hey, thanks, Jim. Thanks for calling. I appreciate it.
All right, later.
All right, see ya. All right, cool. And you can still get crypto t-shirts at truthclothing.io by putting in crypto 50. You go to the crypto shop and put in crypto 50. Let me show you that. Those are some of the shirts. They will be really popular later. Later, they'll be way more expensive and hard to get. No, I don't know. They're half price though now. Crypto 50 gives you 50% off everything on this page, even end the Fed bumper stickers. So, and there's the Bitcoin safe sticker. See, I'm driving around an old Volkswagen with one of these Bitcoin stickers on the back, but then the front, I have the bumper duct taped to the car because it got ripped off from just parking on a curb, basically. So it's not like, it doesn't look like a fancy car, but I have that Bitcoin sticker. But one day I'm just going to laugh at everybody. One day I'll look back and we'll just say, wasn't that hilarious when people said that you were wrong? Not today, though. Today, somebody on Twitter was like, that's all right, though. I appreciate it. I appreciate the good-natured ribbing. Thanks for the calls. It was cool. A few people called in. And thanks for the coffees. I appreciate you guys. Thanks, Spaldo, and someone. Then I'll see what happens in the news tomorrow. Thanks, Monster. Thanks for that. Thanks for the coffee. You guys are great. Yeah. I appreciate you guys. Sorry, I'm just like, sometimes I get like this. But we'll see. 650-429-8294. Mike Maker mentioned QAnon. Yeah, I hope QAnon makes a good return. That'd be great. Thanks, everybody who bought shirts. We've been having good business at the store. Thanks, everybody who got shirts at truthclothing.io. I pack those and ship those out. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, what's up, dude? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right on. I got a little bit of an off-topic question, if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Cool. So recently I listened to a podcast about Tracy Twyman.
Yeah.
It's the Up is Down podcast. You ever heard that one? He did like a series on her.
Well, I know about I'm very familiar with the Tracy Twyman. Very familiar. I'm familiar. The Tracy Twyman thing. I looked into her history and stuff, learned a little bit about her, and but what was it in specific about her death?
Well, it was more of an in general question, actually. Because I found out about her and it led into like a whole like giant rabbit hole of a bunch of other things like internet LARPs and like gang stalking,
Mm-hmm.
like Defango and Lestat and like
Mm-hmm.
Tom Schoenberger and just like all this crazy stuff, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just curious if you could give like people who maybe don't have time to watch 100 million hours of all these people's live streams, like a breakdown of what this is and what is going on here, maybe what you think happened to Tracy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm familiar with, I spent a lot of time talking about different kinds of gang stalking and stuff. And I've talked about Thomas Schoenberger before, and then I had issues with, and then I'm familiar with Lestat and Defango, obviously. So, as for what happened, but I really don't know what happened to Tracy. The weird thing about Tracy to me is she communicated with demons, as like a thing, which I imagine can be problematic for people. So, like,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. That is definitely probably not advisable.
yeah, I mean, I've just heard bad things like with that. I've just heard bad things. So yeah, she was an interesting person. I mean, she basically was, that's kind of like gonzo journalism. I mean, she went all in. She communicated with demons, and then I think she wrote a book from the point of view of one of the demons she was talking to. It might have even been Lucifer. I'm not sure. So
I think
yeah,
Baphomet or something.
Baphomet. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Baphomet. Yeah. So she was supposedly talking to Baphomet and stuff. So yeah, she was into some really interesting things. She thought people were hacking her computer, and so I don't know. I mean, she had thoughts that a person who they'd call paranoid schizophrenic would have, like thinking that her Facebook feed was being messed with and stuff like that. But it could have been true. Yeah, it's hard to know. It's hard to know what was true and what wasn't. So, but she
Right,
could, she could have committed suicide. I mean, that's the official story, right? Is she committed suicide? I mean, I'm open to that possibility. I'm not going to say, oh, she was like murdered but.
Yeah, I remember I think I heard you mention at one point that you had like an ex-girlfriend or something that had like tried to get you into a cult or some craziness like that, and you had like an experience with gang stalking through that or something.
Yeah. Because when I was covering satanic ritual abuse, I covered this group in the UK, and then they started target, like gang stalking me. They like making fake Twitter accounts, trying to, doxing me, and then like recruiting people to attack me. And so it ended up being not just, it was organized, but then some regular people jumped in and got involved in it. But in particular, I basically got catfished. Like somebody pretended to be my girlfriend. Yeah. So like pretended to be my girlfriend, like and then started fucking with me basically. Right. So that was the psyop. It was really crazy. That was a really crazy thing. That's a crazy story, but it did really happen. So, and there are people,
That's weird.
Some people who were involved in it can verify that it really happened.
See, and that's the most like confusing thing about a lot of this like online harassment thing is like why? Like what is the purpose? It seems like maybe there's less people involved and it seems, maybe there's like lots of soft puppets or bots. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like why? Like why are you spending like all these exorbitant amounts of time harassing random people who have a podcast?
Yeah. It is crazy. Like, but people really become obsessed with like taking people down. And people at the time had reasons to be upset with me for, I guess, different things. I don't know. And they just decided to attack me. So it's just, I don't know. People get this sort of animal instinct to like literally like destroy somebody. And they'll go out of their way to just try to make that person's life miserable and stuff. It happens. So
super dark.
I know it is dark.
Anyway, thanks for the call, dude. Keep the show up. I love the show. I usually don't get to catch it live. I'm usually working, but I listen to the podcast every time you upload them. So
Okay.
love your content, dude. Keep
Okay.
going.
All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
See ya. All right. Hey, you're on the air.
Wow. Nate, it's the Rube Star.
Hey, Rube Star. Yes. How are you doing?
Nate, I just got out of jail, and let me tell you, is my ass tired. Say
That's
what
not
you want
nice.
about the say what you want about the food, but there's a lot of singles in there.
So how are you doing? That was just a joke, though, right? You weren't in jail.
No, I was in jail for 4 months. It's a really tragic story. The whole thing is probably going to get dismissed. Other than just making jokes about it, I'm not going to say much more else about it.
Okay, that's
But
cool.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. I wanted to talk to you about the banking crisis.
oh, okay, great. I can talk about that all day.
Now, have you ever heard of your Social Security number is a checking account?
Oh, are you talking about like what do they call it? Sovereign citizen stuff?
I'm not specifically talking about that. I'm just talking about on the back of your Social Security card are red numbers, and that tells you which Federal Reserve has your account. It's set up when you were born. And the reason why I'm even talking about it is because I tested this out. It was on YouTube a lot, like, I don't know, 3-4 years ago maybe, and World Star Hip Hop did a lot of videos on it.
A lot of videos on what again?
So your checking or your Social
On this
Security,
Social Security thing. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you're not going to benefit from it, but it's just the only reason why I'm bringing it up is that there's more money out there than you could comprehend.
Yes.
And this is how it works. So supposedly, when you're born, they take like $500,000 from your dad's Social Security and $500,000 from your mom's Social Security account, and then they put an insurance in there, and they set up an account, and then they buy and sell it on the stock market like they bundle them up thousands at a time.
That's I've heard this before.
I tested it out.
What do you mean?
I tested it out. Let me tell you my story. So, right, it can't possibly be true. I got a credit card, and I went to make a minimum payment. And instead of using my regular account, I said, let me give this a try. I punched in the numbers. I punched in the routing number for the Federal Reserve, and sure enough, it goes through. Okay. I'm like, holy moly. 3 days later, they reversed the charges. Okay.
Okay.
And then the bank sends you the scariest letter I've ever read. How dare you use this account? You do not have authorization to use this account. If you ever use this account again, you're in big trouble. I'm paraphrasing it. I still have the letter. But it's like, oh my goodness, and they're like, we want all our money paid right now. You're in such big trouble. And then nothing else happened. So the transfer, the account or whatever, the transaction went through, they accepted it, but it's just in 3 days, they reversed the charges. Now, when I was looking this up, there's other YouTube channels I was watching, and one guy found his account number on some Fidelity Insurance account webpage or something. And he was born in the 60s, and he was worth something like $3 billion.
Okay.
Which in other words, and who knows if this money's really backed up or if it's real or however it's operated. But the point of it is, underneath the surface, they have more money than you can comprehend.
Yeah. Well, they can create as much as they want. So, I mean, that's a fact. So that's it. That's interesting though.
Yeah. And in regards to, you were talking about somebody talking to demons really get a bad rap.
Okay.
and really, I would advise anybody that even uses the word demons, why not try making friends with them? And the other thing is, there's 2 channels that are talking about the Nephilim are clowns. Have you stumbled across that? Conspiracy R Us is one of them.
The
And I
Nephilim
think
are clowns?
or they look like clowns.
Oh, weird.
If-
Okay. That's weird. I
Yeah.
haven't heard that.
There's 2 channels that dive right into this. And what basically it boils down to is there's an underlining theme, like checkers, zigzags, red and white, black and white, red hair, white faces, and like sticking their tongue out.
Hmm.
And supposedly these are non-physical entities. Like Joe Rogan talks about it, like from him tripping on DMT or something like that.
Right.
And he's like, why do you always see these pictures? And there's like other Indian cultures that paint themselves kind of like a clown. And so just on the subject of demons, I was curious if you had stumbled across that. And if not, I kind of recommend it because it's pretty interesting.
Okay. All right. Cool. I'll look into. I can look into stuff.
Yeah.
See what I think.
And I'm a big fan of yours, and I know DeSantis is probably controlled or whatever, but I got to tell you, I really dig DeSantis. I hit you up on Twitter one time. I said your birthday wasn't that far off from his.
Oh
So
yeah, I think they're close. Me, him, and Cernovich are pretty close.
who is Cernovich?
Do you mean you don't know who Mike Cernovich is?
Well, you gotta forgive me. I kind of been locked up for a little while. I'm remembering him now. He's somebody, right?
Yeah, he's a big conservative influencer. Similar birth date to me.
He's a 78er.
I don't know about the year. No, I don't think. I think he's older than me.
Well, I'm talking about the year with you and DeSantis. I'm talking about the year of the horse.
Close. Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
oh, interesting.
Not to go too far off a tangent, but I just want to say I really. So, and yeah, I mean, I'm sure he ain't perfect, but who is, you know?
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. It's like, are you ever going to get a chance to vote for somebody you like? I'm 100% unlikely. So, yeah, I think, I think I'd vote for DeSantis. I think I'd vote for him, even though I probably
much more him over Trump any day, I would feel.
Yeah, that's my opinion, but I understand. I respect people who think different, but that's my opinion.
And I took half of my money out of my checking account because of you. And it's just sitting in a secret safe location. So
all right.
Don't think people don't listen to you.
All right. Well, do something with, get some gold or something.
I'm just holding on to it. I'm not doing nothing with it.
All right, cool. No problem. Well, that's still safe.
All right. Keep your chin up, Nate, and keep doing what you're doing, man. There's very few people like you out there being majestic.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's nice. Thank you very much.
All right. You got it.
All right. See ya. Okay. And I will, I'll post it. I'll post it. But forgive me, like people who listen to it. I know it's we'll see what comes to fruition over the next days and weeks. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, Nathan, what's going on?
Hey, not much. How are you doing?
Not bad, man. I was just sitting here as the phone was ringing, trying to think of the storyline that I found you on. I haven't been paying attention to you for long. I found you just recently.
Oh.
But I can't sit here and I can't think of what it was now that got you to me or got me to you.
Oh. It's difficult.
Yeah. Anyway, it was probably 6 months ago or so, but I like the show. I like your content, and
Thanks,
I just wanted to tell you. Yeah, I wanted to tell you I appreciate it, man.
Oh, that's cool. Thanks. I appreciate you. Thank you for that.
All right, man. Yep.
All right.
Talk to you later.
All right. See ya. Oh, that's cool. Thanks for that. That's nice. People are nice to me. So that's cool. I'm glad. Thank you. Thank you, people. I will try to do more content, I guess, if I have more free time. And then, but I am, if people want to do crypto stuff, I'll just have to check my calendar. I think it's set up so you can book between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. my time. So it's during the day. And that's at bitcoinmissionary.com. Just sign up for a 30-minute consultation. You don't have to pay anything up front. And then you can decide to send me a donation if you want. I just figure some people need help. But crypto is pretty easy. I should share my Cash App link. You can buy it with Cash App. You can buy it on Coinbase. You can buy it on Binance. You can buy Ethereum with MetaMask. So there are ways to do it. You can figure it out too. But if you want some help, sign up. And then t-shirts. Thanks for the coffees. Thanks for the phone calls. Thanks for the support. Thanks, Basil. Thanks for that. Oh, thanks, Basil. Basil and Cyrus says, thanks so much for streaming. A lot of people love your show. You would be a huge channel without the censorship. And I feel fortunate to have found you. Please keep it up. Thanks, Basil and Cyrus. Yeah, I wonder sometimes. Thanks, Tyler L. Hayden. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And I'll see. Thanks everybody in the chat. Oh, thanks for the super chat. Meteor Dreams, who says there was a tornado in Montebello in SoCal. I got to look into that. There's a tornado in Southern California. That is weird. So we have been, it's crazy weather today. Just rain, and it has been for the last few days here in California. Thanks for that, Meteor Dreams. And I'll check. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. We'll see you at the next show. I'll try to do definitely the show at 5 p.m. tomorrow. And then I'll see if news happens. Otherwise, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and I'll try to go live when appropriate. So thanks, everybody. And we'll see you at the next one. For now, that's what it is.